Hello, I'm George Eldy from Wines by Nature, and I'm here with my friend Tom Simone. He works for Winebow, and I've known Tom for close to 20?
About an embarrassingly long time, more than I'd like to admit.
We've sold wine against each other. We sold wine to each other.
Yes, we were competitors. Right now I'm on the selling side. He used to be on the selling side, so we go back a long ways in a lot of different capacities.
So I work. I've always respected Tom and his opinion. So very proud to say that he's on the team who helps support me making my decisions for the wines that come in here. What makes your story unique or kind of similar to mine is you have an extensive restaurant experience.
Yes, and that's probably how I got to be so familiar with wines and the variety of wines and just the opportunity to taste them. I started working in a restaurant, Mama Lombardi's in Holbrook. And I started out waitering and with the idea that I was just paying for my Stony Brook college tuition. And then I just got hooked on it, and I got, they offered me different positions in the restaurant, such as bartending, and then I started doing the wine buying, and then started going to tastings, and before you know it, you're hooked. And it's so much fun because you get an opportunity to taste so many different things. And I wish that maybe the drinking public could have those opportunities as well, because they would find so much more interesting wines to drink and see what different countries and areas and varietals they never tasted. When I was, in 1992, I didn't, know Sangiovese from, Welch's grape juice. And now I'd like to say that I do know the difference between Sangiovese and Welch's grape juice. So, the restaurant business definitely helped set the stage for what I'm doing now. I think more than anything else, more than working retail and more than just being an aficionado.
So just from Mama Lombardi's, but I remember looking and talking to you, but it really reads like a laundry list of who's who.
Oh yes, because Mama Lombardi's, that was like the first step. Then I got an opportunity to work at Louis XVI, which is a very like Manhattan-esque classic French restaurant that was in Patchogue on the water there.
Yep.
Not there anymore, but I learned a ton about fine dining and about service and about higher end wines, because that was the opportunity that I had to taste high end French stuff, especially, which I didn't. I had a really good knowledge of Italian wine from working in the Italian restaurant, but I needed to learn about French wine, and I did learn about French wine, and it's one of my favorite countries now, and especially like high-end classic French wines, like the great white Burgundies, the great Bordeaux's, and then going to tastings and finding the real cool value wines too, like in Languedoc and even in the Rhone. The Rhone isn't quite as popular as Bordeaux and Burgundy, so you can still find fairly priced bargains there too.
And when you worked over at Stone Creek Inn, Christian is from Southwest?
Yes, I worked at the Stone Creek Inn, which is probably my favorite restaurant experience. Love the restaurant, love the owners. Love the customers. It wasn't a lot you couldn't love about the Stone Creek Inn. Christian, the owner and chef, is from the southwest of France, from around Toulouse, and we ordered a lot of wines from around there too. The Jurançon and some Tannats and wines like that, which is another introduction to that region for me as well.
Cool.
And I can't go to the Stone Creek Inn. It's a terrific restaurant. You'll love it.
So with all that restaurant experience, do you cook at home?
I sometimes cook at home. Just being the job I'm in, I don't really get home in time to really throw together something lavish and interesting, but I do like to do it every now and then, My wife is kind of more the cook than I am in the house, I have to say, which is probably all to the better.
And you said you got your passion for food accidentally. You were going to school, paying the bills. I had a similar path.
Oh, absolutely. I always liked food and going out to dinner and stuff. But the first time you have like these like aha moments. And the first time I was invited to like a tasting dinner when I was a wine buyer, and I'm like, oh, look at this is really cool. And I'm having that wine with this. This is something else.
Do you have two questions?
Sure.
Do you have a desert island meal and a desert island wine?
I gotta say, if you're for the meal, you might be disappointed if it's if you're expecting something like incredibly lavish and sautéed foie gras with fig, blah blah blah. It's this linguine with white clam sauce recipe that my mother used to make me on my birthday, and it's a little different than regular. It's not super Italian. It has like onions and dill in it, and it's just something that I love, and I don't really get to eat anymore. So that's that. And the wine isn't like a fabulous, like a 59, Bordeaux or something. It's a wine that I sell. It's Castellare Chianti Classico Reserva Il Poggiali. They're a wonderful winery that does everything in a very honest, original, true to the region kind of way. It's just pure Sangiovese and native Italian blending grapes like Canaiolo, Malvasia Nera, and I can't think of the third one. But
if it's your desert island wine, I need to try it.
Oh well, then I will get you a sample next week then.
Right on.
For you to try.
And I'm sure you had your share of wine dinners.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have tips for our customers about wine pairing, do's and don'ts? Break the rules, don't break the rules. Kind of.
I like to stay within the rules as a general guideline. Until you drink a lot of wine and know and are familiar with the qualities of the wine and the characteristics of the wine, I think you should stay within the rules. Lighter wines with lighter food, tannic wines with food that'll enhance that. Like if you have a big tannic Bordeaux, you want something that can stand up to it, like a steak or
fatty steaks and
hard cheese even.
Right.
And also. That being said, if you want to break out your best bottle of whatever and drink it with whatever, more power to you. That's what I say. But I would say just think of the weights of things and try not to drink wines that have super high levels of alcohol unless you're pairing them with something that's it's really going to make a good match with, because it'll kind of overpower the food and
like weight class, medium
yeah,
weight, lightweight,
exactly.
weight. You want to make
Right.
sure you have tannins versus acidity
Right.
versus fat.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing there.
Right. So, especially acidity. It's something that people don't think about when they think about wine. If you're not in the wine biz, or if you're not really familiar with it, but that's like the kind of the lip smacking, mouth watering quality of a wine that makes you want to have another glass.
I know.
Very good.
So that brings us with one last moment. We bring it to what's in our glass today. What do we?
Oh, we have this is it's one of my favorite things in our catalog. This is Forge Cellars Les Alliés, which is French for the Allies, which is a reference to the partners in the winery. This is a Finger Lakes winery, and Rick Rainey and Louis Barrois from Chateau Saint-Côme in France are the partners in this, and it is probably one of the most artisanal, hands-on wineries in the Finger Lakes. Everything is done by hand. It's harvested by hand. The grapes are sorted by hand. It is very hands-on, and it's made as naturally as possible. There's the minimum amount of sulfur used. There is they use spontaneous fermenting yeasts, so sometimes the fermentation takes a very long time, which is actually a good thing. It makes the wine much more complex and less of an industrial product.
Just like cooking, you cook the sauce,
Exactly.
not in 10 minutes, but all day sauce.
Exactly, right, all day sauce. Being both having Italian grandmothers, we know all about all day sauce.
Right on.
So this is their Pinot Noir, and I said the Les Alliés is their single vineyard Pinot Noir, and it is really a French style. A lot of times when you go to cooler climate Pinot Noirs like they do have upstate, they're fresh, they're light bodied, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is really like an example. If you put it up against Burgundy, you might be mistaken and think it's Burgundy.
No, it has a lot of French sensibilities. It has a little slightly cloudy characteristic to it. You put it in your nose. It's very, very welcoming on the nose. Different than some Burgundies I've had, but it kind of has that cedar, barnyard, a little bit of that little gamey.
Yeah, exactly.
But
A little forest floor type of character to it.
But a lot of fun, very interesting, a lot of layers. I was
Yes.
very surprised when we had this, and as it has been opening up, it's really becoming more that balance, and yeah, it'd be hard pressed to think there wasn't
A red Burgundy, absolutely.
Right on. Well, Tom, thank you for spending a couple of moments with me.
Anytime, my pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers.